The Cowboys have their new schedule. They have welcomed the rookies here to the Star in Frisco this weekend. And so now, officially, the countdown to the 2022 season begins on this edition of The Blitz, your Dallas Cowboys report.
Pops out to the right, breaks a tackle. They blitz it. Prescott throws it down the right side for Lamb. Caught it! Back to throw, rush, sacked by Parsons. Heaves it deep down the left side for Gallup. He's got it. Touchdown!
Oh, what a great time of year it is in North Texas. What a great sports week this has been with playoff basketball, playoff hockey, the PGA Tour in town. And we've got an NFL schedule and rookies here at the Star in Frisco. Welcome to the Blitz. Bill Jones with Kyle Yeomans. So much to get to. The Cowboys even paying tribute to the PGA Tour with their own golf classic this past week.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're taking a swing at their new schedule. They're kind of going down. And, of course, we'll do it here in a little bit, but we're going to look at the possibilities for this Cowboys 2022 season and the possibilities and the ceilings across the way as well with rookies in town. That's the youth of your football team. Lots of important days ahead this offseason.
All right, Len, let's get into it by breaking down this schedule. You'll recall last year, first game of the year in Tampa, Dak Prescott told Tom Brady after the game, "I will see you again." Sure enough, he is seeing him again. In fact, it is the season opener, a Sunday night game, September 11th. Tom Brady making just his third trip to the Dallas-Fort Worth area to play the Cowboys in his 23-year career.
Yeah, no better way to start off the season. We saw that a year ago. It was such a good game, 31-29, as the Buccaneers took the Game 1 matchup. That was on a Thursday night to start the season in 2021. They, of course, raised a banner in that game. Now they get to come here, and even DeMarcus Lawrence already saying, hey, it's revenge time. This is a game that this Cowboys team will covet throughout the season to get a chance at Tom Brady and the Buccaneers again. Sure, they've had an offseason where maybe they've taken a step back a tad. No Rob Gronkowski, trying to get healthy in a couple of different areas. But anytime number 12 is behind the line of scrimmage, you better bet you're going to get the best from this Dallas Cowboys team. And he's not the only great quarterback the Cowboys are going to see soon.
That's right. And that the first 6 weeks of the season, it is very interesting as 2 straight home games. You get Brady the first week, and then you get Joe Burrow and the AFC champion Bengals the second week.
Yeah, not only the Bengals, but you also face the Rams a couple weeks down the road as well. 3 of the first 5 weeks of the regular season, you face 3 of the last 4 quarterbacks to be in a Super Bowl, including the teams that were in the Super Bowl a year ago with the Bengals and the Rams. It's going to be really interesting how this team responds early on, because you have to find a way to win some of these early games. You cannot get off to a 2-3, 2-4 start. They were 6-1 last year. You can't necessarily anticipate the same kind of turnaround, especially with the talent that you'll see on the other side of the line of scrimmage, but you will see a litmus test early on, and you're going to find out just what this Cowboys team is made of early in the season.
Yeah, you got those first 2 home games, and then 3 of the next 4 on the road, and 3 of those games against division rivals. It's going to be a real test the first 6 weeks of the season, and the second 6 weeks of the season, supposedly, according to those who do the math on this sort of stuff, the Cowboys have the easiest schedule in the NFL. It starts getting a little easier, you would think, but you can't go by last year's records.
When you're facing an entire NFC North division within the span of 5 weeks, I mean, you go with the Lions and the Bears, you got the bye week to kind of split it up, and then it's Mike McCarthy's return to Green Bay. That's not only a game circled on the list of all of Cowboys fans, and of course Mike McCarthy, who was a longtime head coach with the Green Bay Packers, but the entire nation will be looking at that game, because if the Cowboys pass the litmus test early on of seeing the Buccaneers, of seeing the Bengals and the Rams in those first 5 weeks of the season, that's going to be their next benchmark. They'll turn back around against Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, who has a couple of new weapons. No, he doesn't have Devontae Adams anymore, but a couple weapons to throw the football to. That will be a fun one because you get to see, again, Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers duel it out one more time, and Mike McCarthy at the helm for the first time.
And, of course, the New York Football Giants come here every year, but it is very rare that the Giants play here on Thanksgiving Day. I was taken aback. Wait, the Giants on Thanksgiving Day? When was the last time this happened? Well, it happened 30 years ago. In 1992, the Giants came here on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot. Usually you see a ton of those NFC opponents of the Eagles or the Commanders that have worked their way into that Thanksgiving schedule, but the fact that the Giants make their way down, I think it's interesting. It's a change of pace a little bit for that Thanksgiving ball game.
All right, you go into the final 6 weeks of the season, and it's going to be very interesting to see where the Cowboys are at this point as they take on the AFC South. A couple of home games to start things off, Indianapolis and Houston in that grouping right there, and the Philadelphia Eagles scheduled for Christmas Eve to come here. However, that game could flex to Christmas Day depending on how teams are playing at that point in the season.
And it always seems to come down to the wire between the Eagles and the Cowboys late in the season. That's the final home game for the Cowboys this season. You'd have to think that that game's going to have some implications in terms of who wins the NFC East, because it always seems to happen. It always gets down to that final month of the regular season. The Cowboys were able to lock it up this past season for really the first time that early on in probably a decade worth of playing. So watch that Christmas Eve matchup. Not only is it a rivalry game, not only is it on a holiday, but it may have some massive divisional implications for a team that's trying to see the uptick like Philadelphia.
It has some massive family implications around here. One thing, when we knew that Christmas Day falls on a Sunday this year, the one thing everybody in this building wanted was to make sure that you're at home, whether you're playing on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, right?
Yeah, makes things a little bit dicey in the family planning overall. But, hey, you get to see football on both of those holidays. That's always a plus. I also want to mention the game following the Eagles in that Week 15 or 16 matchup, rather, in Week 17 against the Tennessee Titans. I want to see how this defense is going to stand up against probably the most prolific rushing offense in all of football. They went out and drafted Malik Willis. He may even be the quarterback by then. Read option with him and Derrick Henry back and forth. If Henry's still healthy that late in the season, that's going to be a huge test for this Cowboys defensive front.
And again, that is the Thursday night game. So for the first time in several years, the Cowboys are not playing back-to-back Thursday games, Thanksgiving Day and the week after Thanksgiving. All right, it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. And when we come back here, how many of these rookies that were here at the Star this weekend are going to be playing it out during the 2020 regular season?
The Blitz is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. This segment is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
I definitely think, I try to view myself as one of the leaders, and I definitely try to conduct myself in that way, but I'm not above any one man. This is a team thing. It takes all 11 on both sides of the ball to do what we do, so definitely just, gelling myself with the guys, getting to know them, is this going to be what I'm trying to focus on for these next couple days?
Definitely, showing Coach that, I'm not a draft mistake, being able to go out there and do everything and more, that they believe in me that I can do. And so I'm excited to do that and then start building team chemistry with my teammates and, going out there and all working for the same goal. So I'm just excited for the opportunity ahead.
What a weekend for those Cowboys rookies, as this is Rookie Minicamp Weekend. Welcome back to the Blitz, and we go exclusively behind the scenes as Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy welcome the 2022 rookie class to the Star in Frisco.
We got a lot of people in this country that look in the Cowboys over. I promise you that right now. Okay, this is business, and we need to be a pro.
This thing is built on the young guys. We are a draft and develop program, okay? You are the bloodline of the development of our football team.
Get your mind right, get what straight in that mirror, put it together and get out here.
Man, you got to knock it out of the park. You got to knock it out of the park. You got to know exactly, schematically, what to do, but how we call it, the adjustments, everything that goes into it, all right? So I'm just making sure to heighten the urgency of what's in front of it, because it's going to go really fast, trust me, okay? Trust me on that.
I will tell you right now, my life changed when I got to be a part of the NFL. Yours can too. Okay, great to be able to team with you guys.
All right, you can't tell the new players without a program, and there they are. There are your rookie jersey numbers. We already knew that Tyler Smith would wear number 73, the guy he idolized, Larry Allen's number, right there, Kyle?
Yeah, pretty big numbers, actually, right there up at the 3 of the 4 draft picks. You look at the 73, and then, of course, the 54, pretty storied throughout this franchise as well for Sam Williams out of the defensive end spot. And I'm also looking at Jake Ferguson with that 48, of course, Daryl Moose Johnson wearing that number, and I'm interested to see if he sticks with that as a tight end, or maybe we see a shift there as well. But pretty good-looking numbers all the way through. I like 71 for Matt Waletzko as a developmental tackle. I think that 71's going to look very nice.
Well, once upon a time, the late, great Mark Tuinei was a developmental tackle and proved to be a pretty good one at left tackle for the Cowboys. And by the way, Deron Bland, the 5th-round draft pick, wearing number 30. Wait, that's Anthony Brown's number. No, Anthony Brown's number is number 3. The pressure on this rookie class to perform is pretty immense for especially the top 3 draft picks.
Yeah, especially when the front office doesn't necessarily spend a lot of their resources on upgrading through free agency. Now it does fall squarely on the shoulders of this rookie class. Tyler Smith expected to come in and start either at left guard or fill in at left tackle when Tyron Smith is not available. Then you've also got Sam Williams and Jalen Tolbert, who are expected to be in the rotation and productive at defensive end and wide receiver. Big shoes to fill for both of those guys.
And by the way, it is Sam Williams. He was only D. Williams for a week, but he does play DE, defensive end, for your Dallas Cowboys. All right, who's playing LB, linebacker? And can Micah duplicate his rookie season when we come back here on the Blitz?
This segment was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
And welcome back to the Blitz, your Dallas Cowboys report. Bill Jones with Kyle Yeomans on this rookie mini camp weekend. And what a rookie season one guy had last year, the 1st-round draft pick, number 11, Micah Parsons. Let's break down this linebacking crew a little bit as the Cowboys have added to it. And it's going to be very interesting to see what takes place as we get on into OTAs and training camp and so forth. But let's start at the top with Micah, and what the Cowboys have been able to do, I think, at defensive end, it allows Dan Quinn to be able to use Micah Parsons where he wants to in his defense, whether it be at linebacker or as a pass rusher.
No doubt about it, and one of the biggest things that you could see an improvement on for Micah Parsons is allowing that second level to play freely and probably help stop the run a little bit more. They had the back half of the season where they struggled a little bit as a unit. Micah Parsons never really struggled, though. He had as about a productive of a rookie season as you could ever hope to have from a linebacker. What is his next step? That's the biggest thing. How is this coaching staff, how is Dan Quinn going to get the most out of Micah Parsons heading into this campaign? Because that's what you expect. Yeah, he had a great rookie season. Yeah, he was an all-pro. You need him to take that next step and become one of the more solidified, consistent, and best linebackers in all of football for him to stand up to the expectation that he set in year 1.
Well, and so now what about the rest of the linebacking crew around him? Of course, one of the decisions the Cowboys made in the offseason, Leighton Vander Esch, after testing the free agent market, comes back, signs here on a 1-year deal. And Jabril Cox, 4th-round draft pick last year, went down with the ACL injury. He's back this year, and those are going to be big factors in the linebacking crew.
Yeah, both of these guys, it's who stays healthy for the longest and who can provide the most impact because, of course, Cox coming off an injury. Leighton Vander Esch coming off actually a clean season as we take a look at where the injury sustained for Jabril Cox right there on that goal line, and he missed the back half of the season. Leighton Vander Esch, when he has a healthy season and a healthy offseason to go along with it, he may actually see a massive improvement in the 1-year deal that he's playing on here in 2022. But I'm interested to see just how much of a role Cox will play coming off of that injury. Can he take that next step in year 2 and really provide a good rotation on that second level with these two guys that are returning.
Yep, and of course you got Luke Gifford in the mix as well. But let's take a look at the rookies because one of the guys, Damone Clark, wow, you look at his tape from LSU, he was all over the field. Of course, he had surgery after the injury was detected at the combine, and it may be a redshirt year for him. We'll see later in the season. But him, as well as the draft pick out of Oklahoma State, those are guys that are going to get an opportunity, Devin Harper being the other one.
Yeah, Devin Harper, one of those athletic sideline-to-sideline guys, going to really complement Micah Parsons well as an east-to-west player, whereas Micah Parsons is more of the north-to-south sort of linebacker. Damone Clark will be that at some point. Is it in 2022? That's yet to be seen. He's still 6 months away from even getting on the football field. You would expect him to maybe take that quote-unquote red shirt year and get ready to head into year number 2 of his professional career. That's a pick that they just couldn't pass up on the value. With Devin Harper, they may have stretched a little bit. He may have gone undrafted, but they didn't want to fight for him. They really like the way that he plays the game of football, flying off the second level and the athleticism he shows from that linebacker spot.
Well, and the other thing is you want your linebackers to make an impact on special teams. And you look at Devin Harper, where he's going to get on the field as a rookie this year is as a special teamer.
It's just what Jabril Cox did in year 1 as well. I think you could see the same thing from Devin Harper early on. Very good special teams marks, and then you turn around, you can maybe find your way on the defense as well.
All right, it is golf month in North Texas, and the Cowboys take to the links when we come back on this edition of the Blitz. It's a great month for golf here in North Texas. AT&T Byron Nelson wrapping up this weekend in McKinney, the Charles Schwab Challenge over at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth. But Britt Johnson takes us to Cowboys Golf Club. It's the annual Cowboys Golf Classic.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the 2022 Cowboys Golf Classic. It's your girl, Britt Johnson, and I am here with some of your favorite Dallas Cowboys. We know what these guys can do on the gridiron, but I think we need to see what they can do on the green. It's time to tee off. Guys, we are on the hunt to find CJ Goodwin. I'm hunting him down because I heard he did not want to be on camera because he's a really bad golfer. But guess what? I'm here to get him on camera.
I got bad coaching. At this point, it's bad coaching.
Okay, I gotta know, what was the best advice? What's the best advice you've learned today?
My man Todd, he gave me advice about. Matter of fact, no good advice came from this group.
So I just heard you talk about a hole-in-one. Have you gotten a hole-in-one ever in your life?
I have, but it was on a putt-putt course.
Okay.
But
I don't know if that counts.
No, it counts, right? You said a hole-in-one.
Like a mini golf course?
Yeah, mini golf course.
Oh, so we're dealing with the pro here. We're gonna have to catch some of your swings. Not today? How are you doing today?
Not today.
What is the best golf advice that you have ever heard or you would like to give to the people today?
Just stick with it. It's going to be ugly a lot.
Yeah, we've
coming
seen
back.
some ugly today. I've talked to several of the players, and a lot of the players kind of think that Zach Martin's going to be the guy that hits a hole-in-one today. Do you think that that's pretty accurate?
No.
No?
No. Zach is all about power. So I'm going to say Zeke.
All right, guys, we have made it to hole 18, the final one of the tournament, and I personally don't know how to golf, but you know what? I got another option. This is how we're going to close out this day. Woo!
All right, thanks, Britt. And the great thing about that, it's obvious the Cowboys players don't spend a whole lot of time on the golf course in the offseason. When we come back here on The Blitz, we give you the Cowboys preseason schedule for this year.
The Blitz was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
All right, we talked about the regular season schedule. You know, for the Cowboys rookies here for the orientation program this weekend, these are the really important games for them. These are the preseason games, and it starts on Saturday, August 13th with a road game at Denver. Kyle Yeomans.
Yeah, it's interesting. You'll go to the Mile High Stadium. Probably not going to see Russell Wilson in that ball game, but you will get to see some of the youth that Broncos team has. Of course, Randy Gregory on the other side. He probably won't play in that game either. But it's the dress rehearsal against the Chargers that I have circled. That'll be at SoFi Stadium out on the West Coast. Most likely that'll be where you break training camp. Of course, that's not official to this point either. But that being a dress rehearsal, you will see some Justin Herbert. You'll get to see some of those starters from a really talented Chargers program. I'm interested to see how the Cowboys will combat that. And then, of course, you come back home against a developmental team like the Seattle Seahawks, who are trying to find their quarterback in the preseason as well.
And, of course, just the lone home preseason game against Seattle the last week of the preseason. And then Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to town. For Kyle Yeomans, I'm Bill Jones. We appreciate you joining us here for the Blitz, your Dallas Cowboys report.